So I'm here taking a panoramic of the city from Weehawken, and I have it on a timer, the camera, 30-second exposure, and here we go. Hey everybody, Schroder here, photographer. Welcome to my channel. Today's video, I will be showing you a collection of photos that I've taken since 2013 of Midtown Manhattan, a panorama of Midtown Manhattan, and I've taken this photograph every 2 years starting in 2013 from the same exact location, literally the same spot. Every 2 years I go to this place in Weehawken, New Jersey, and I take my tripod and my camera and I put the tripod in the exact same location so that I get the exact angle. And after I did that in 2013, I started noticing that there was new buildings coming up. So I went back in 2015, took another shot, and then I decided to keep doing that every couple of years. So I did that again in 2017, and the city changed even more. And then I just recently, like a week or two ago, I went back and took my 2019 version of the photo, also from the same exact location, and there were even more changes in the skyline. So in this video, you're going to see these 4 photographs next to each other, one at a time, and I'll talk a little bit about it and how I did it. And I really love New York City, and I have a big interest in its history, so it was just very interesting to take these photographs and see how things change over time. And I plan on continuing to do this in the future. So check everything out. The one you're looking at right now is 2013. And if you're interested in purchasing a print with the 4 different images on it in high resolution, check out the link at the description. Thank you. So let me talk a little bit about how I took the photos and some details about them. What you're looking at now is a comparison of the 4 photographs from 2013, 15, 17, and 19. And there's some really obvious differences between them with the different buildings and all. But first, let me talk about how I took the photos. As I mentioned before, I used a tripod, a very sturdy tripod that I have. I used my Canon 7D series cameras. I think maybe for the first shot, it might have been my 7D, and then after that, probably my 7D Mark II. And the lens that I used in 2013, 15, and 17 was a 24 to 105 L series lens, and in 2019 I used my 24 to 70 L series lens. And I try to the one downside of not using a fixed lens is that sometimes I didn't shoot them at the exact same focal length, but I try to match them as much as possible to the previous year. So I also, besides putting it on the tripod, I also focused the shots manually. I found that to be very important. Right in the beginning in 2013 when I first tried it, I think I tried a few things, and I used autofocus, and when I zoomed in you could see that it was off. It's just not tack sharp. So what I did was I manually focused. I used the live viewfinder, and I used the zooming in, the magnifying, and I really manually focused really sharp on the windows. Like when you zoom in 10 magnified, you see it really up close. So it's really, really sharply manually focused. And to get the sharpest image possible, I set the camera on a timer, and that way I can hit the shutter and take my hands off the camera and wait for it to beep. It's 10 seconds or whatever, and then take the exposure without me touching the camera. So that way I don't create any kind of movement. And I shot at 100 ISO, the lowest ISO possible, and I wanted to get a long exposure also. I wanted the water to kind of soften up and the colors to blend in nicely, and so some of the shots are like 12, 14 seconds. There might be one in there that's like 30 seconds. I think the last one might be 30 seconds. And that's kind of it, really. Oh, and the f-stop that I used was like f14 or something like that. So that's basically the setup that I had. And also, obviously, that camera is not a panoramic camera. So what I did was take a sequence of 3 or 4 shots for each panorama. And what I do is I take a shot, start on the left, take a shot, and then using the tripod, I rotate the tripod, or just the head of the tripod with the camera a little bit, and I take a second shot and then a third shot. And later on, I stitch the photos together using software. And that's really it. That's the technical side of it. Shoot in JPEG, not RAW. And that's really the technical side of it. That's how the photos were taken. And now let's talk about the differences in year to year, at least that I've noticed. There's probably some stuff in there that I haven't picked up on yet, that maybe somebody watching, experts on the New York City skyline will know that I don't. But if we start in 2013, you have You have the Empire State Building right there on the right, more on the right side. You have the Chrysler Building, which is my favorite building, right down the middle. You can see it in the background because it's more on the east side of the city. And on the left side, on the left end is where basically Central Park begins. And you can see some buildings over there, but a lot of new construction was about to come over there in the next few years. And the same all the way on the extreme right, where it seems like the city, there's a section of New York City in between Midtown and downtown that there really aren't, too many tall buildings. And from this photo, it looks like that's where, right after the Empire State Building, is where that decline begins, right? But right on the right side, as you start seeing in the 2017 photo, there's a new construction, a whole new development called Hudson Yards. And it's just a gigantic development that was started there, I believe, probably around 2015, maybe right after I took a 2015 photo. And by the time I got back in 2017, it was halfway finished. And one of the famous landmarks in Hudson Yards is called the Vessel, which you can see in the 2019 photo, but it's kind of small in the photo. But when you're there, it's not that small. You can climb it. It's like this art/steps building project that you can kind of like walk up to the top and look at the scenery from up there. And that's called the Vessel. I just went there for the first time a couple of weeks ago and didn't really get to enjoy it too much because it was freezing, and I was kind of like in and out of it. But that's in there on the right side on the bottom. It's called the Vessel. And then there's all these other buildings that are there. Then on the left side of the photograph, you have a whole bunch of new towers that started appearing in a 2015 photo. First you had 432 Park Avenue, which is a tall, I think it's the world's tallest residential building. It's 1,396 feet. And it was completed in 2014. And you can see it in the 2015 photo, kind of on the left side, the tallest building on the left side. It's a very skinny building. And when I first saw it, I didn't even know they were building it. When I first saw it one day when I was going into New York, I saw this like chimney-shaped building in the distance. And I'm like, what is that? And didn't really like it when I first saw it because I wasn't used to it. And then I found out that there was this new building that was coming up, and it was just sticking out like a sore thumb. Little did I know then that there were at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 more of these same style buildings coming up within the next few years. And that's what you'll see in like 2017 and 2019 photos. You'll see Central Park Tower, which is in the 2019 photo the tallest building in there on the left side. And I believe that might be the tallest building in New York if you take away the antenna from the World Trade Center, but don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. Near it, there's the 57th Street Tower, which is 1,428 feet. It's also going to be the skinniest building in the city, maybe in the world, I don't know. So skinny is in, I guess. And to my disappointment, if you look at the 2019 photo, I was shocked when I went there and I looked for my favorite building, the Chrysler Building, and it was gone. Cannot be seen from the angle that I've been taking photos all these years. One Vanderbilt, it's called. It's a 1,400 foot tower 1,401 foot tower, and it has been built right in the line, in the direction of the Chrysler building. So the Chrysler building now is out of the photo. You can't see it in the 2019 photo. So sad, sad news. But if you compare the 2013 to the 2019 photo, you definitely see a huge change in the city. And there's more to come. There's a few other towers in there that are in construction right now, that maybe if you could compare the 2017 or to 2019, you may be able to see some stuff that's not there. I haven't analyzed them that closely yet, but there's stuff in there that's coming up, and that in the 2021 photo, or maybe I might even do a 2020, I might go to year, might show up that's not there right now. So the Skyline has definitely changed. It just looks, it makes 2013 look small almost. And the only regret I have is not starting this project a long time ago. But, you know, better late than never, right? So that's the story on these. If you pick out anything, if you see anything that I haven't mentioned in the photos about any of the buildings, please leave a comment. I'd like to know. I love the history, and if I said anything incorrectly, you know, please correct me. So yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching the video.